Welcome back to the Mark Worch Show. This is episode -9. Today, I want to tell you a story about a guy I met on a plane flying back from Arizona to Miami. Let's call this guy Scott. Scott was a character. Right when I got on the plane, I could tell this guy was a drinker. He had a half of a bottle of orange juice with him. He was shaved his head, very tan, but like a really, really dark kind of leathery tan. He just looked like a guy who loved to drink. And sure enough, he's sipping on his orange juice and he opens up his bag and he kind of looks at me, gives me a little smile, and then he pulls out like those little shots you get at the airport. And he had like 3 or 4 of them. Just opened them up, twisted them off, dumped them all in his OJ, shook it up, and was drinking the whole flight. Scott was a really interesting guy. He told me before he got on the plane, he told me his girlfriend worked with JetBlue. So before he got on the plane, he went up to the stewardess, the flight attendants, and said, "Hey, if you guys need anything and any help or anything, let me know. My girlfriend's with JetBlue." So I guess that's an industry insider because they were just hooking this guy up with free booze the whole flight. Every time they would bring the cart around, they'd give him like 2 bottles for free. The stewardess and a flight attendant, she gave this guy free booze even when they weren't bringing the cart around. She just walked by. She said, "Hey, you want something else to drink?" He was like, "Sure, why not? It's free." Really cool guy, but he wasn't at the point where he was like belligerent or crazy. Just the guy loved to have a drink. So I was talking to Scott the whole flight, and he was telling me, about his life, and he was telling me why he was in Arizona. He had got an apartment for his daughter. They went there. They were looking around for an apartment. She was going to college there, and I could tell he was really proud about it. This was like a really proud father. He had 2 other kids. He had another daughter and another son. All 3 of them went through college. He put them through college. They got some student loans, some scholarships, but he said he paid a lot out of pocket. Plus, he was paying for all their dorms, all their apartment expenses, everything. But the way he said it, though, is what stuck with me. Scott didn't speak like most fathers or most dads, or what you would expect anyways. How a lot of times you hear someone talk about, "Oh yeah, kids are so expensive," or, "Oh yeah, I had to put my kid through college and pay for this and that." He didn't say it in that way. Scott said it in a way like this guy was so proud of himself. He was so proud of it, like that every penny he spent was on his kids bettering themselves and moving forward in life. And he was just a proud father. And that was just so amazing to see, to be able to see that. And I was like, damn. I was talking to my wife later on. I was like, damn, this is what we need. We need more men like this. This is a man. This is a guy who has responsibilities and he's taking care of those things. And he's not even spiteful about it. The guy was so proud about it. And that really rubbed off on me. And it really got me thinking, I really want to be that type of man. I want to be that type of father, that type of husband, that type of friend, effectively, where I'm really interested in investing in others and giving to others. And I'm proud of that. I'm taking my resources and bettering other people. And I think from what I see is the world tells us that we should exalt ourselves. This is not my words. This is one of my good friends. He said the world tells us that we're supposed to exalt ourselves and step on other people's shoulders and lift ourselves up to get everything we can and to get as much as we want. That's society. That's what the world says. To live very selfishly. But if you look at all great leaders, any great leaders, if you look at what the Bible teaches, it talks about how it's the exact opposite. It talks about how that we're called to exalt others, and we're called to lift others up and lift others up and let them stand on our shoulders so they're better. And my buddy told me this, and I was like, holy cow, this ties in perfectly with this guy, Scott, that I met on a plane. I mean, this guy totally was exalting his families. He was exalting his responsibilities, and he was proud of it. And I think I really took a lot away from Scott and this idea of really exalting others and lifting others up. The world asked the question. I was listening to an interview the other day. I'm not going to say who it was. It was a podcast. And at the end of the podcast, it's a very well-known guy. You would know who he is. At the end of the podcast, the host asked the guy, "Are you happy?" And the guy was like, "I am absolutely happy. Everything is perfect in my life. I get to see my kids. I get to see I don't know if he said wife or I think it was a significant other. Everything's going good for him. Money, business, podcasting, content, everything." But this is a guy that also openly, I don't know how we don't know how his family life is. He has this image that it comes across that he might not be like a faithful husband or have something going on with other women, and his wife is okay with it, or he's not really home all the time. He doesn't see his kids a lot. That's just kind of the image. You never know what social media these guys portray, what's really going on. But that got me thinking, like, the world asks us if we're happy, when we think about that. And I think the same way that the world tells us to exalt ourselves and lift ourselves up, the world asks us if we're happy. I think a better question is, if we're exalting others and we're lifting others up, is, are other people around us happy? The people that rely on us, is our family happy, right? Are our friends happy? Are our employees, our team, are they happy? I think that's a better question, or a better benchmark of success, as opposed to asking yourself or someone else if they're happy. Someone asked me that the other day, if I was happy, and I don't know why that's kind of an irritating question for me, because I don't really think about life in terms of happiness. I mean, happiness is I could be happy 10 times a day and upset 10 times a day and frustrated 10 times a day. Overall, yes, I'm happy, but I don't think about happiness too much. I focus more on a peace and a joy, and I get that through doing what I'm supposed to be doing here, doing what I'm called to do. And that's really, I suppose you could say, that's when I'm happiest, when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, regardless of whether or not I'm happy. So, and that really got me thinking, are the people around me happy? Is my employees, is my team happy? Are my employees happy? Is my family around me happy? People that I interact with, are they happy? Are they being lifted up? Are they reaching their full potential? And for me, that's a way better benchmark as to if I'm doing right, if I'm adding value to the world. For me, that's a far better benchmark. If I'm a man, that's what a man's supposed to be doing. Just wanted to share that story with Scott with you guys. If you got something from it, drop a comment below and let me know if you guys have any similar stories about how you were able to lift someone up, or maybe something resonated with you about that message, and how maybe you've been focusing too much on yourself and you've actually been harming others or pushing others down. Thanks for watching. This is the Worch Show, episode -9. Talk to you next time.